Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics podcast, the only podcast coming from Central Maine's best comic book store by default. My name is Zach. With me is my co-host Jared.
Yes.
You're not good at introductions.
Well, I'm awkward turtle, but it's good to be back here on a Tuesday night in your man cave-ish area.
Not a man cave.
Okay, well, it's kind of a cave. It's underground. It's subterranean. It's your lair.
It's a studio. It's a podcast studio.
It's a podcast studio. It's been a busy week since we last met here in the podcast studio.
Yeah, I mean, the last 5 times I've seen you, you've had a different shaped nose.
I have, really. It's painful. We'll find out tomorrow what the latest is on my schnoz.
It was normal, then it was broken, then it was fixed, then it was broken again. For a while it had a tent.
The perils, yes, I think the tent is coming back. There may be a new tent for the nose.
That's sad.
It is. But you had a big weekend. You went up to Bangor for the Bangor Comic Book and Toy Festival.
Yeah. That's all
you have to say. Celebrities stop by the Editor's Note table.
Look, it's Tuesday. It's been 2 days, and I am still recovering from it. It was a long weekend.
I want to know about the experience, though. Like, I came in full Editor's Note promotion mode tonight. I got my Editor's Note comic shirt on. I want to know about your time at the festival. You had a celebrity stop by, roll by the table.
That was one of the R2 builders. There was a guy there. R2 also played music. He was playing "Staying Alive" for a while.
Did he dispense any ice cream or anything like that?
No, but he played disco. You're really glossing over the disco music.
Well, it's kind of like when he was on Jabba's barge. He should have had like a little drink carrier and gone around and served drinks. That's the cantina music right there. It was more of like a wind-chimey, weird, sand duny music on Jabba's barge.
No, it was all the same music.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Let the record show. This is the first official podcast where my throat is on the way out.
You've got a large mug of tea, which you stole that mug.
We don't need to bring that up.
Wow.
I've just finished eating a bunch of popsicles. Let's see how long we can do this. All right. Oh, and I guess, the rest of the con.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. So it was 3 days ago, Friday, and I've had a couple of moments like this where I'm thinking, like, I have failed as a business. This is all a mistake.
It's a little early to be thinking you failed as a business.
Well, whenever I think this, I always end up making the most money, so I should just think of myself as a failure always.
Oh, okay.
How's that work?
You suck.
I was going to say, you think of yourself as a failure, right?
And I don't make any money, so this is terrible. All right, so Friday you head up.
No, we go up. There's nothing. Like, there's a couple people there. People are kind of wandering around. Nothing's really happening.
Was there anything like big night one? Like what day was or night was Uhura there?
I guess that she probably wasn't up until Saturday, but I think there was some stuff afterwards. Like, people went out drinking and did a few events around the town, but I just came home.
Just kind of wander across the street to the casino there.
Yeah. But Saturday rolls around and I'm thinking, maybe I'll just, entertain myself by tweeting throughout the weekend funny things. And then the people happened, and it didn't stop in the best way.
You said there were a lot of people there, a lot of costume. What was the best costume of the weekend?
Probably one of the Boba Fetts.
Really? So there were multiple Boba Fetts?
Yeah, there was a lot of Deadpools, the occasional Darth Vader.
Did you wander around, or were you like swamped at the table?
No, I didn't go anywhere. I would do some quick drive-bys and try and network with some people. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. It's all fine.
So you didn't get to go see Nichelle Nichols?
No, I didn't. Like, the celebrities that were there, if they weren't within eyesight, I didn't.
Who were the other? You had Uhura was there, Nichelle Nichols. Who else was there?
Vern Troyer was there.
Oh yeah, Mini-Me.
Yeah.
I had some friends who were there that took pictures with Mini-Me. I thought about going up on Sunday and surprising you, but it would have been a lame surprise, and B,
like, you here to spend money?
Yeah, exactly.
By Sunday, I was just surly. I didn't want to pack the car up, so I'm like, hey, I got deals. I'll make them.
Yeah, I saw that tweet.
Just come
I don't want to pack
here.
the car. Just take my stuff. Pretty much begging people to rob you.
I was like, if I throw something at their head and it breaks, does that mean they legally have to buy it?
Maybe. I
think
don't know.
That's a binding contract.
But you, R2-D2 stopped by. Anything like? Tell me a good story. I need a good comic, a good convention story here.
My Saturday had an extra 0 that it doesn't usually have when I cash out at the end of the day.
That's a good story.
That's the best story.
But did you interact with anybody that you were just like, you're gonna think about and remember, or?
Not really. I mean, most of the people that came by were friendly. I think the only one who came by was like this one 8-year-old kid who didn't understand the value of things.
Oh,
Actually, there were a couple of kids. They're like, "How much is this?" I'm like, "That's $60." Like, "Oh, I have 10." Like,
he was trying to haggle you. He was trying to
best
work
of
you
luck.
down to a. He was like American Pickering you or whatever that show is. American Pickers.
I think some of my favorite. I mean, I did actually meet. There were some artists that I like to meet. There was one guy who came over towards the end of the con. He's like, "Hey, do you do trades?" I'm like, "Do I do what?" He's like, "Trades. Like, do you want to trade some of your stuff for my art?" I'm like, "Oh, sure."
Like, if you had like gummy bears and I had chocolate milk at lunch, we'd trade.
Yeah, and I'm like, I haven't done this since like elementary school days, and then my parents would get phone calls like, "Your boy needs to stop trading and getting the good toys."
Oh, well, which are probably now on sale at Editor's Note.
Yeah, probably.
Downtown Hollowell, Water Street, by the way, editorsnotecomics.com.
If you do this too much, I cut it out. I think I cut out at least 2 of them in the last episode.
This is a marketing tool, dude.
Is.
I'm gonna listen to the whole show this time, and if you cut it out, I'm gonna let people know.
I think one of my favorite things is there's a couple of business owners, and I'm not gonna like get into anything bad, but there's a few people who came by who were definitely just there to size me up,
Really?
which I got a kick out of.
Like, what do you mean? They came to the com just to like?
No, I mean they were there anyway.
Oh, so they just like kind of walked by and like,
No,
who's
I
this
mean,
guy?
oh no, they came over and talked to me. They're like, "All right, what's this guy all about? This guy who's an hour away from us and still somehow manages." That's Maine. You're an hour away, but it still counts as competition.
Well, again, Central Maine's only comic book store podcast by default. So
Also the worst by default.
well, I think it's also
But
the
I like
best by default.
I like the positive spin.
It's the best by default. Lots to talk about though. I'll kind of help take the point because I know that your throat's killing you. A lot of trailers came out over the past week.
Yeah, we said we were going to talk about Batman or maybe Star Wars. In reality, every trailer just came out this week. It was like Star Wars hit. It's like, oh, maybe that'll cover like some of an episode, and then it just kept coming.
Well, was that the new Suicide Squad trailer from MTV Movie Awards over the weekend came out as well.
Yeah, we'll get into them.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Let's hit up, as the long-standing tradition is, hitting up kind of news. I'm happy to announce we have no Batman v Superman news this week.
But there will be talk of Batman coming up.
Yeah, I'm just glad to be done with that for a little while. Oh, I did get a toy came in today. It was a Batman toy, and it's like it shows him with like a gigantic rifle, and it says like with action blaster. I'm like, that's just his murder gun. He killed like 40 people with that. Good thing it's just an action blaster. DC announced Wonder Woman got moved up. It's barely counts as news. It was only by 3 weeks, but they did add in 2 more movies. One in 2019, one in 2018. It's unknown what they are, but let's just go out on a limb and say they're probably Batman and Superman movies. Because in DC's whole slate, they don't have any Batman movies up there. It came out, Charlie Cox, the guy who plays Daredevil, said that production for the Defenders TV series is going to start by the end of the year. What are the Defenders?
They're people who defend things.
They do. Good job. It's kind of your B-list Avengers.
Oh, like Ant-Man?
No, more B-list. In Marvel Comics, it was kind of traditionally like Doctor Strange, the Hulk, Namor, Silver Surfer. But what Marvel TV is doing is they're going to have it be their kind of ground level heroes that they have in all the Netflix shows. So 4 different characters are going to get a show, and then they're going to have their big crossover TV season. So that's coming, hopefully. I mean, production begins this year. I can't imagine that it would take over a year for them to...
Is it going to be better than Supergirl is?
I've only watched 1 episode of Supergirl. It's fine. For the one that I watched.
Yeah. I mean, I've dabbled in it. It's kind of I like Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. That's much better than Supergirl.
The one where they get rid of Jimmy Olsen and then hire a less attractive Jimmy Olsen because he was too hunky.
Well, I mean, I never really looked at it that way, but sure.
That's what they did.
Yes.
They're like, this Jimmy's too attractive. Get him out of here. Get the uglier actor in.
Get the ugly Jimmy in here.
Yeah, and that show might not be renewed. It's I think their final episode's about to air, and the show hasn't been renewed yet. It hasn't been canceled, but it hasn't been renewed.
Usually not a good sign if you haven't been renewed.
No, probably not. I guess we can just kind of swing into Marvel movie news. Kevin Feige, the guy who produces all the Marvel movies, said that this door with Sony goes both ways. They get to use Spider-Man, And Sony's going to get to use other Marvel characters in their movies as well.
Reasonable, makes sense.
I'm not sure what the split is. I know Marvel still has all of the merchandising rights, so even when Sony puts out Spider-Man movies, they still make all that money on the toys.
I hope we don't get like a third Spider-Man origin movie.
They'll probably gloss over it.
I mean, Peter gets bit by a spider, la-da-da-da-da. I'd like to see him kind of continue on with the Andrew Garfield continuum. I think that
that's not happening.
Well, I mean, this Spider-Man in that world, maybe? I don't know.
No, that's done.
It's done?
That universe is done. The Amazing Spider-Man was the first series to kind of crap the bed after...
Well, when you kill Gwen Stacy, who was the true love of Peter's life, not Mary Jane Watson.
That's what happens in the books.
I know that Gwen dies, but still.
They were kind of the first victim, and they're not going to be the last. Because after Marvel made like billions on the Avengers, everyone now is doing a shared universe, even if it doesn't make a damn bit of sense. And Sony tried to boost up this whole, we're going to have a Spider-Man universe, and they announced like 5 or 6 movies, I think. I don't want to list them because I don't just want to think about it because it's done. But they had this whole thing planned out. That movie happened, and it just fell apart. It's the first one to fall, and it's not going to be the last.
Bring back Doc Ock. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
That was the good Spider-Man movie.
That was probably the best of those 3.
Yeah. And I don't know what country this was, but there was a TV spot this week that showed that shot in Civil War they keep on showing in all the teasers and whatnot of everyone looks like a kind of splash page of everyone running at each other. Marvel's been digitally removing Spider-Man from that shot.
Ah.
And it was one of the Asian countries. They had this really tonally weird song playing over this commercial that didn't really make any sense, but it does show Spider-Man going into battle in that big fight that they're showing on Iron Man's side.
Yeah, with Tony Stark.
Yeah, they've just been cutting him out digitally. I thought that was funny.
But I don't understand why they would do that when everyone knows that he's in the movie now. And you've acknowledged it and you embraced it at the end of the last trailer.
Just to keep it ambiguous. I mean, in the book, he ends up switching sides. They can't do the Spider-Man story from the book. He unmasks himself for the world, and then he's like, oh, that was a terrible choice, and goes over to Captain America's side. But you can't do that in a world where literally none of those heroes have a secret identity.
Fair enough.
And also just to introduce Spider-Man and then to be like, oh, by the way, it's this kid. Yeah,
I'm interested to see how that all plays out. I liked the feel of it. You know, you only had the 2 lines at the end of the trailer, but it felt Spider-Man-ish.
Yeah, it just feels like a kid kind of out of his element. Following up on a story from last week, dealing with the Suicide Squad reshoots, David Ayer, the director, came out on Twitter and said the idea of it being done for humor was a bunch of crap. And he's like, no, Warner Brothers is just, they love this project, they're backing it, and they said, hey, we have some time, what else do you want to do? We'll see what happens there. It could be best thing ever, or it could be fine.
Yes.
Or bad. It could just be bad, too.
I don't know, the 2 trailers have really, really got my hopes up for this movie. More than the trailers for Batman v Superman did. Which
kind of brings us into the theme of this week, which I think I'll just call this episode Too Many Trailers.
TMT.
Yes. I'm sad that I had to think that out. Look, I'm sick.
Well, we're not all at 100% all the time.
So, new Suicide Squad trailer dropped on the same day as 3 other trailers. What'd you think?
I liked it. I think it gave a little more idea of what we can expect when we go in to see the movie. Obviously, Joker is the guy that they're going after. A lot more Batman in the trailer than I thought was going to be.
I don't think it's the Joker anymore. I changed my mind.
You did? I think it is.
I think he's just a wild card in there. I think they're going after Enchantress. Going to kind of prep for this, I went through the trailer and I was just had my finger on the space bar every second. I was like...
You were one of those guys.
Well, yeah, I also tried to do it myself. I've gone out of my way not to see other people's reactions or opinions. I've just been going through it. But you can see in the background at one point, Amanda Waller, who's being played by, what's her name, Viola Davis? Let's just say I'm right. She shows the entire team on the wall. We're in that kind of boardroom meeting where they're like, if Superman came in and just punched the president in the face.
Well, he's ripped the roof off the White House.
Nope, punched him in the schnoz.
Well, I know how that feels.
Yeah, that's verbatim. When that happened, I'm like, and you think that these regular people would be the ones to stop Superman? Okay. Roll with it. But they got all the images of everyone in the background, and the one that you don't see anywhere, you never really see her sit with the team, is Enchantress. And I guess you don't see the Joker either, but I think they're already off doing their thing when he just kind of hops in. And I think he's probably after Harley just to be like, hey, what's going on?
I don't know. I still get the feeling that it's going to be a Joker centric, like Joker's.
Oh, he's gonna be in it.
Well, yeah, but I think they're going after the Joker. That's. I mean, you see his car, his convertible. You see the Batmobile chasing it. I just get a feeling that the Joker is the bad guy. And like, granted, it's a movie about bad guys, but I think he's like the antagonist.
I don't even know if they're doing that as much anymore. One of the weird things about Will Smith being in this movie, aside from him doing an ensemble piece, is he's always gone with this kind of mantra of "I'm never going to play a villain." He wants to have that image of like I'm family friendly, blah blah blah. It's like, all right, he's playing Deadshot. He doesn't have Deadshot's tweedly little mustache like he normally has, but that's fine. But going through on the side of his guns and on his collar, because he's wearing a turtleneck, he has this thing that says "I am the light," and he kind of said in interviews before that he was only going to be he only kills bad guys. Ugh. No, just shoot some people in the face.
He killed that alien. I guess the alien was a bad guy.
The alien was a bad guy.
I'm trying to think of who else he's killed in movies.
A giant spider in Wild Wild West.
Well, it was a mechanical spider with a guy that had spiderly legs and never really, like...
Do you think he's going to rap at the end of this movie?
Oh, God, that'd be amazing.
That's all I want. Post-credit scene, just have Will Smith rap again. What was his last album? Was it Willennium?
It may very well have been Millennium.
I'm not going to look it up. I don't want to know.
It wasn't Big Willie style.
No, that was in like late 90s.
I feel like he did one after Millennium.
That's how good of an album
it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
No. I think they're going to off at least one. I think they're going to kill Slipknot. You don't see him a lot in the trailers. You just kind of see him when they're all assembling. Like I said last week, they have the fail-safe that if they disobey, bomb goes off in their head. And they show one point where it looks like he's a real like Z-list DC villain. I didn't know why he was there. I think he's just there to die.
Proving a point. Harley Quinn, though, wow.
Yeah, I think she'll probably be good. I don't know. I've only seen her in Wolf of Wall Street, and that was some parts of that were super Harley. So yeah, I just imagine her doing it.
I like the build up of her character. I like the way it's played. I like the way that they're kind of trumping her up a little bit. Seems fun.
They're what? They're trumping her up?
Not like Trump, like Donald Trump, but they're building her up. It seems like it's going to be a fun movie.
She's very orange. Yeah, I mean, they did that thing that I kind of hate in another trailer that I can't tell. In this one, it was okay, but they threw in the most kind of what do you call it? One-hit wonder of songs with Ballroom Blitz.
Again, like you said before when you talked about Bohemian Rhapsody, they're putting a lot of money and a lot of stock into this movie by buying song rights.
I don't think you need to pay that much money for Ballroom Blitz.
But still,
we have one song. Please buy it.
Lots of Batman in this trailer.
Yeah, I mean we know it's Affleck. He was spotted up in Canada where they were filming. It's going to be probably a younger Batman. It looks like he saves Harley in the water or some such when the Joker crashes his. Was that a Lamborghini?
Yes. I mean. So you feel like this is before Batman v Superman?
No, I think it's gonna be after. I think they're just gonna have flashbacks in it.
Do you think we see any of Robin in this? Maybe
that'd be neat. I actually like that if he went and killed Jason or whichever Robin it's gonna be.
I mean that's
probably gonna be Jason. So yeah, Jason ended up dying in the story called "Death in the Family." They ended up putting out, it was like I think it was 4 issues, and for issue 3 you had to pay like $1, but you could call a 900 number and vote for whether or not he was gonna die.
Wow!
And they ended up offing him. They said it was only by like 60 odd votes or something, but they could always just be lying.
Yes,
it's not a very good story. The Joker gets away with it because of like, diplomatic immunity, and there's a bomb involved, and it's.
Diplomatic immunity didn't work well from the guy in Lethal Weapon 2.
No. But he ends up beating Jason half to death with the crowbar, which is pretty brutal, and that's definitely one of the better parts of the book. And then blows him up. The crowbar wasn't enough.
No. I mean, I think it would be cool to see that. I think that definitely has some potential. That might be a hidden piece. That's why I still feel like the Joker might be like the true antagonist of the movie. Because I feel like he got so much firepower on the Suicide Squad. With having those characters there, that I feel like the Joker has to be on the other side so he can get equal screen time that way, as opposed to sharing it with, the other, ensemble pieces.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see when it happens. I don't know that much about it, and I'm fine with that. I don't need to know.
I kind of don't want to ruin it, though. I don't want to dig too deep, and I don't want to find out too much before I go in and see it.
Yeah, so don't watch a trailer and then click on hit your space bar a lot.
No, I just
I did.
I watch it.
One of the other ones that came out that I think these were all the same day, and you can talk about this because it's not really a world I'm that into, but the new Harry Potter trailer came out.
Oh, Magical Beasts and Where to Find Them.
I don't think it's called. Is it Fantastic
Oh,
Beasts?
Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, fantastic.
I don't know.
No, I think it's exciting to dive back into that world. I think that it'll be interesting because we'll get an American view of it because it takes place in New York.
Did you know the guy in there who's like says "Welcome to New York"? He does it in the most New York of accents.
Yes.
Is it gonna be one of those?
I don't know.
I wish I can't do a New York accent.
I'm not really good at a New York accent either. But I think it'll be interesting to explore that aspect of the world outside of Hogwarts. It's the second trailer for it because there was a teaser trailer that came out with what movie did the teaser trailer come out with?
That was a bad teaser. It didn't do anything.
It didn't really get anything going. Oh, it was a Star Wars that the teaser trailer was. When we went to see Star Wars, that was when we saw that teaser trailer. But this one, dives in a little more, makes mention of Dumbledore.
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see the role of Dumbledore. Is that role, reprised? Do we see Dumbledore in the movie?
I mean, all you have to do in that case, because it's not like he had his real hair anyway. Throw a brownish wig and some brownish hair, and bam, you got it.
Well, I mean, they did that in the last couple.
Yeah.
They did that several times with Michael Gambon, putting him in the younger Dumbledore look.
Yeah, just throw a wig on him.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, obviously, this feels to me like it takes place, obviously, well before the Harry Potter series. This might be like an origin story to where that textbook that they use at Hogwarts comes from. Be interested to see if they weave any Voldemort into it, but there's obviously something.
because I think this is gonna be like in the 20s. Is what it looks like. So I was doing my space barring.
Doing your space barring?
And then I had to look up a bunch of names that apparently don't exist yet in this world.
Fair enough.
One of the newspapers on there says risk of wizarding exposed or something like that. The wizarding world exposed. We see a lot of that of magic going off in public, and you haven't.
Yeah.
But you saw a lot of that. That doesn't mean anything necessarily. By the end of those movies, you saw them just in cafes shooting.
Yeah, the Death Eaters destroying bridges. I mean, there was even a scene, it didn't happen in the movie so much as it was in the book, where the Minister of Magic sits down with the British Prime Minister and talks about the situation with Voldemort. So, it's not the first time that the Muggle world and the Wizarding world cross over by any means, but it's interesting. I'll be curious to see. And then there's also a Quidditch-based Harry Potter movie in the works that a lot of filming is actually slated to take place in the Portland area.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I'm down for some Quidditch. But when was the last time that a major motion picture had a block of filming done in Maine like that?
That Kevin Costner rom-com one.
Which one? He's in several.
I don't know. It was in the 90s.
There was
like Message in a Bottle? Was that it?
Maybe. Yeah. Because he was also in like Bull Durham, Tin Cup. Those are rom-coms.
Kevin Costner's Bottle?
No, I think it'd be more like Mel Gibson's Bottle would be a... We can edit that out because I would be in fear that Mel Gibson would hear this and track me down. There was a kick-ass trailer for a movie that he's in that looks really good. Bloodfather?
You talking about Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to watch a Mel Gibson movie.
What do you have against Mel Gibson?
I think plenty. It's always this thing, and whenever people come out that's just they're jerks, I lose interest in watching anything they're really associated with.
I mean, this movie Bloodfather looks really interesting. I thought he was great in Expendables 3. I liked him.
No, he wasn't. That was the worst.
What? You didn't like Expendables 3?
No, I don't like their muzzle flashes. I don't like their lack of blood, and I don't like their puns. Was it 2 or 3? It was I now pronounce you man and knife.
Ooh, that may have been 2. I just like the names of the character, like Hail Caesar. That's a cool.
No,
that's a badass superhero, action hero name. Not a superhero, but an action hero.
No, I hate those movies.
Lee Christmas, come on.
No, they're the worst. Unless
it's a little bit racist when they call Jet Li Yin Yang.
There was Stallone said the 4th one might take place in space. If that's real, I'm back on board and I want to watch it.
Wow. Well, they were talking about the next Machete movie. Machete Kills Again in Space.
Yeah, that could do it.
The Robert Rodriguez film series, which I like the Machete movies too. Those were entertaining because they don't take themselves seriously.
Also with Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson was in the second one. Yeah, he was Vaz or something? Or
I don't know. I don't want to watch it.
I may go home and Netflix the shit out of that.
You could. I didn't know a couple of the names that I looked up for Harry Potter. One of them was Alberto Maslaris. Apparently he's not a person yet. I don't...
It could be. There's so many different names and characters in that universe.
They showed that he was like a wanted man on this newspaper that's giving me all of my talking points.
Ah, wow! You really dug in. Did you put this up on the 4K screen and pause?
No, I just did this in the store.
Slow day.
No, setting up after the first person who came in today because I brought everything up to the condo. And he's like, "Oh, are you guys closing or moving out or something?" I'm like, no, I'm moving back in. I was gone all weekend.
It sounds like you took the whole store with you.
I took a lot of it. I took a lot of that store with me.
Your parents were in the store when you were gone too, right?
Yeah.
Did they make more money at the store than you do on a weekend?
No. They said a lot of new people came in, which I'd rather be the one to greet new people, but on the same time, whatever, I was open in 2 locations at the same time and made more money.
You were reaching out in marketing. All right, back to more of the Harry Potter stuff.
I don't know. You were always one of those people who was...
I like the books. I read the books.
You were so into the books.
Not as much as other people. I don't know. It got me back into reading.
That...
I remember the long diatribe you went on tearing Harry Potter apart.
I don't... And I ended up reading the books probably a couple of years ago. It hasn't been that long since I did it. But I didn't like that series just because I didn't... And I'm sure they existed, but I never saw them. There were no casual fans of Harry Potter. Everyone freaked out. And I was like, no, this isn't for me.
I didn't get like a Harry Potter tattoo. I enjoyed the story. I wanted to know what was going to happen next. It's not like I go home and weep over the death of Lily Potter.
No, you just ran around and showed everyone you could the use of the word ejaculate.
Oh, well, it was
what page number was that? I'm sure you know.
I don't know, but it's in a children's book. It's a real thing.
No, everyone just freaked out, and I don't.
And it was ejaculated, not ejaculate.
Whatever. I wasn't that concerned with it. In the movies, even kind of like 50-50 on the movies.
There were some good ones, and there were not so good ones.
The first two, I forget the guy who directed them, but he did
Chris Columbus.
Yeah, those are boring movies. He does a really good job with casting. It's good world building, but those are boring movies.
It was a lot of tell, don't show.
Oh my god, it's just those movies, they're not that long, but they go on forever.
Feels long. Lots of exposition.
I don't like those movies. At least those two. Some of them were good. Which one was the one that was a waste of time? The one where they kill Gary Oldman?
Oh, that was Order of the Phoenix.
Sure.
Oh no, Half-Blood Prince. Order of the Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince?
I don't know. The one where Gary Oldman dies. That one.
Oh, that's
nothing happened in that movie.
Serious. Yeah, that was kind of like Harry was like really mopey in that one. I like the Deathly Hallows movies. The last two movies are really good.
I don't like the first one. I guess because the whole first movie was just setting up the second. I didn't like that. So yeah, I'm like 50% on the Harry Potter movies.
The last one was very, very good though. It tied up all the loose ends. Had a good climactic scene to it. Little different ending to it than the book did though, as far as like Harry breaks the wand and throws it off the bridge as opposed to using the Elder Wand to repair his own wand and then buries the wand back with Dumbledore. But
yeah, whatever. I'm fine with it. I ended up watching all the movies and I read the books. I think I like the score more than anything. Is that Elfman?
Yes.
Feels very Elfman. Like his scores are always so boppy.
That's very disco-y. That's like disco.
It's like R2-D2 staying alive.
Yes.
It was really confusing because you just be like walking by. Like,
did he have an extension cord coming out of him, or is he battery powered?
No, he was on a remote, and he made all the noises. There was one remote for noises and one remote to move them. I think the noise one was an Xbox controller.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the guy, he said it took like 6 years to build. It was really impressive.
Is it like how tall was it? Like 3-4 feet tall? 3 feet tall?
I don't know. I think they did it by the exact specs of R2. So I guess big enough for Kenny Baker to fit in.
Wow,
that's how tall it was.
There you go.
And then I just want to talk about one of my favorite things in the world. Got a new Kong movie.
Yes.
Oh man, I love King Kong. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Well, you liked like the 1932 King Kong.
33
or 33. That's one of your favorite movies.
I love that movie. It is. I just rewatched it like 2 weeks ago. I love it so much, except for the mild not mildly, except for the overtly racist parts. I really like that movie.
You like it a lot better than the Peter Jackson?
The Peter Jackson movie, I like that movie a lot. It's 3.5 hours, and as I've stated, I don't want to sit for a movie for more than 2 hours.
Do you think Peter Jackson can make a movie under 3 hours?
Yeah, did you ever see Dead Alive?
No, I didn't.
That I guess they had to give out barf bags going into that movie.
Oh, really?
It's my favorite. It's the end is where a guy walks into a room full of zombies with a push mower and picks it up and just plows through like 50 zombies. And he's just showing like slipping all over the place. It's amazing. I like I do like the Peter Jackson movie. It's almost split up exactly in thirds. Like they spend an hour on the boat, and then they spend an hour on the island, and then they spend an hour off the island. And if I didn't like Kong so much, I'd probably wouldn't like the movie. Good stories tell you about the characters. Bad stories tell you about the creators. And that's one where you just see that Peter Jackson's like, I love Kong. Look at all these ways that I love Kong.
Ah. Now, like, what is it about Kong that you like?
I think it's part of that 1933 one is I love watching that movie and just being like, how do they do all these effects? I'm not going to get into it, but I will stand by and say that is the most technologically impressive movie of all time. So many new technologies were created for that movie. They did so much cool stuff on it. But I think just at the end of the day, I like that I like to watch big monsters punching things, and Kong is the most humanized of all the big monsters.
So do you like Godzilla?
I love Godzilla. I love Godzilla versus Kong.
You just love watching these creatures come and destroy everything.
Yeah, kind of destroy all monsters. That was a Godzilla flick.
There was Godzilla, Mothra.
Mothra. I don't know. I can't remember how many movies Mothra was in. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of other creatures that Godzilla fought. Like, who did Godzilla fight? He fought King Kong.
That was the third one. That was the first time both of them were in color. It's weird with them. I guess King Kong originally was supposed to be Frankenstein's monster.
Really?
So, but they had to jack up Kong's size to make him like Godzilla size. But there's this one scene where like Godzilla just beats him down and he's lying down. Lightning hits Kong, and just there are these guys kind of narrating the story. It cuts to them, they're like, "Oh, thank God, electricity makes him stronger." What? Then it happens again later on. Like, he's a monkey.
What about I'm trying to
King Kong escapes when he's a Mecha Kong.
Oh my God! What about the Godzilla 2000? What would you think of that one?
The Godzilla 2000 was one of the Toho ones. Are you talking about the 98 American one?
Oh, it might be, yeah, the 98 American one. The one with like the Taco Bell dog helped promote it, where he was hiding under the box.
That was Godzilla.
Here, lizard.
Godzilla 2000 was released in the States, but that was kind of Toho's response to the Broderick one. No, that movie's no good.
I'm trying to think who was in that.
That movie that's their tagline like size does matter.
And he just destroys New York.
Because nothing says Godzilla more than a dick joke.
Again, who would want to live in New York? It gets tore down every other movie.
All of the cast of The Simpsons. Like half the cast of that movie was just Simpsons voice actors. Wow, we went off there. But there's going to be a new Kong movie coming in 2017. It wasn't a trailer, but the first footage was released from it earlier this week. And so the original Kong takes place during the Great Depression. This one's... I've watched this like 8 times to just try and pick apart everything they said. But they said it's going to be in the Vietnam era, but that some of these guys might have PTSD. So I don't know if that means that it's going to be while the war is going on, if it's post-war.
It's got a pretty big cast in it, too.
Yeah, it was supposed to have J.K. Simmons and Michael Keaton, but they had to leave because this movie got shuffled around. It's kind of a bummer.
But Tom Hiddleston's in it. Samuel L. Jackson is in it. John Goodman's in it.
Good old Sammy J.
Yep. If it's got Samuel L. Jackson in it, sign me up.
I want to... we've seen him get eaten by a dinosaur. We've seen him get eaten by a shark. I want to see him get eaten by a monkey. Keep going.
Now, are there going to be dinosaurs on this island?
Yeah, they did say that this movie had monsters, plural. And, yeah, and every other King Kong, there's always been random dinosaurs running around. The thing that they kind of got into... The character being played by Brie Larson, she's going to be I don't know her character's name.
She's like a photojournalist.
Yeah, she says she's a photojournalist, but she's a peace activist that wants to work with the creatures instead of fighting against them. I don't know if that means that if Vietnam's still going on, maybe they're like, oh, maybe we can drop like a Tyrannosaurus in the middle of Vietnam and have it mess stuff up.
Just tear apart the
Which would
Ho
be
Chi Minh Trail.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Like,
She could be like the Kong Whisperer.
they're like, we're losing, but we dropped a Tyrannosaurus, so they're dead.
Napalm this. I love the smell of Tyrannosaurus in the morning. Smells like victory.
Or if maybe some of these monsters have gotten out and the government sends over people to try and check this island out. They said it was an uncharted island, and we don't see what does it because it'll be added in CG, but we see like cars blowing up and like things just flying everywhere. It's like, more explosions than I usually see in a Kong movie.
Like a Jurassic Park 2 or 3 feel to it.
I don't like that. Don't say that.
I'm sorry. Well, it kind of did. You know, they go back to the island.
Alan.
The friggin' Velociraptor on the airplane.
Yeah, because they can talk. I don't know. This is one of those ones for me. Kong is one of my favorite things in the world, and I can't wait to see it. Because then, so this is taking place in the 70s, and this is going to be...
But this isn't a real trailer. This is just some behind-the-scenes footage.
Yeah. Oh, I don't care. Until this movie comes out, I'm just going to report on everything I see. Because
a man in a monkey suit in downtown Hollowell must have to do with Kong.
So in 2020, we're getting the best remake of what I'm so excited about. King Kong vs. Godzilla coming back.
Nice. So if I were to walk by the shop
in
like a monkey suit...
We didn't focus on how awesome that is. King Kong vs. Godzilla. Just a couple seconds of silence. Soak it in. Yeah.
No, question. If I were to walk... That's what you say, statement, usually.
Yeah, I did say that one time.
If I were to walk by the shop in a monkey suit, would that like get you all riled up for King Kong?
I'd be confused.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone... I've seen some strange stuff in Hollowell, but I think a man walking downtown in a monkey suit would be up there on the list of strange things that happen in the city of Hollowell.
I just want to watch King Kong and Godzilla punch each other for a while and then be friends. Like every Versus movie.
Oh, I saw a really good... as I was rewatching the trailers before the podcast tonight, speaking of like, they fight and then become friends, this comment wins the world. I was watching the Civil War trailer again, and someone underneath put like a little piece of text like Iron Man and Captain America, hey, your mom's name is Martha too? We should stop fighting and be friends.
Yeah.
Somehow, Batman vs. Superman weaves its way back into the fabric of this show.
It's like what they call it, Godwin's Law, where everything comes back to Hitler. The show will just come back to that
Batman v Superman.
That Batman movie I didn't like. And then going off of one of my favorite things that I'm excited about to one of my favorite things that I'm not excited about.
Wait, don't tell me. Does it involve Megan Fox?
She's pregnant again. That's actually what we're here to talk about. It's not. I don't care.
The whole show has led up to this moment.
I just want to talk. Who's the father? I don't care. Yeah. We're here to talk about that movie. Because another trailer came out, and just like Suicide Squad, pulls a pop song out, puts it in a trailer, which is kind of the new trend.
Beastie Boys.
Yeah, which is just like the Star Trek trailer. Who
Yes.
also used Beastie Boys. It's becoming like the Inception.
It sounds like the pump in the other room.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like the Sun Pump. But that's the new trailer trend. I want it to go away. Guardians did it, and now everyone's doing it.
Well, Guardians made a novelty out of it, though. They made a really good soundtrack, and it made sense for Starkiller. Or Star-Lord, sorry.
Yeah.
Starkiller is the original name of Luke Skywalker.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
So, new Ninja Turtles trailer came out, and for the most, it was more of the same. It was a lot of the same shots, just in a different order. Except for the development that they found, and this is their term, not mine, purple ooze that can make them human.
Why?
Why? I don't care.
They're not supposed to be human. They're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I hope they don't do it in the movie. I'm not going to say it looks like it's a bad movie, because I'm not going to say that. But it looks bad in the worst sense. Like, I can watch a bad movie and love it. Like, last year's Fantastic Four is a train wreck, but I loved watching it. It was amazing just watching how much of a train wreck it was. This looks so generic that what are you going to do with it?
I'm not really... It doesn't appeal to me, and I like the Turtles, but I don't know if... That one is probably going to end up being a red box. Although, for the podcast, I probably have to pony up.
You're legally contracted to get. That's what actually keeps Hollywood in business now. Is just how many people have podcasts. And they have to go report. Oh my god! Being at the con, I was around more people who had a podcast than I think I've ever been in my life.
See, I thought about afterwards. It would have been cool if we had podcasted from the con, but
yeah, other people did it.
Oh well, you're not other people.
There were, like you'll see at any con, you'll see girls dressed up in cosplay. And I heard one guy who's like, "Hey, I have a podcast about geek stuff." I'm like, buddy, no, it's not a good pickup line.
No, I know about failed pickup lines, and I would use that one.
I have a podcast. I show up and sit in someone's basement.
That's like a Ralph Wiggums kind of pickup line.
God, there's not a lot to say about this trailer. It looks like they're going to have the same kind of ending, big CGI fight on top of a roof, and then I bet they'll come together as a team and overcome it.
I think it's more of the same. It's a Bebop, you get some Rocksteady, you get some fighting, a lot of action, in your face, wow.
I don't even care about, I shouldn't say I don't care, but it doesn't do much for me making it like the old cartoon.
I am mildly looking forward to Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang and Dimension X, so we haven't seen them on the big screen. It's always been Shredder.
Yeah, those are, for me, why I don't care is I love the books, and that was never part of the books, and I'm not as excited about that stuff. It's just like, oh yeah, that's the thing that other people like. Great. Which is, fine. If other people like it, or if kids dig it, I guess that's the more important thing than a couple of 30-ish guys sitting in a basement being like, human turtles! It's ridiculous.
The very thought of it sickens me.
Yeah. Yeah, movie looks like garbage, but I'm going to watch it anyway.
Yes.
Then I'll be
You're
sad.
going to make me watch it.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll have thoughts when I get out of that movie. Hey, everybody, we're back. Guess what happened?
Oh, God. That was the most, lame, boring 25-30 minutes / terrifying 25-30 minutes of my life.
So we finished up the podcast. We're literally less than a minute left of it. And it turns out the power strip the laptop was plugged into wasn't on and the computer just shut down.
Yeah, that was the moment that we had this realization that we may have to do the whole show over again at what is 10:30 at night.
The reality is we were only like 20 minutes for how long we waited for it to recover. It only been like a 20-minute difference. But here we are, ready to have the same conversation again. Hey, so
how was Comic-Con?
Oh God, no. I made a lot of money. I was happy. So, all right, it's gonna feel weird having the same conversation again. All right, so we're gonna move on.
An hour and a half of the same conversation.
To kind of the big part of the show, the part that we lost, Star Wars. So I'm gonna, I'm not gonna mention the fact that I said this already. So what happened is last Tuesday, after we recorded, we ended up watching Force Awakens. I took about 2 cat naps during it, kind of skipped some boring parts.
You did. I soldiered through. I was awake the whole damn time.
Why wasn't Han Solo there at the end?
He died.
What?
Spoiler alert.
No,
that was episode 3. But no.
So we watched that on Tuesday. Wednesday, I watch all the special features. The best part of that is Harrison Ford. For whenever you didn't have to have a full body shot of him and you got to see in the special features, he was wearing just the most old man sneakers possible. They must have been New Balance. But I finished that up on Wednesday night, and I'm thinking, okay, there's really no new Star Wars. Star Wars is going to, trailer will come out.
Wrong.
I made it about 8 hours, and then this trailer was on, I think it was on Good Morning America. Something really out of the ordinary.
But Force Awakens trailer drops.
No,
Rogue One.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I don't like that subtitle, by the way. A Star Wars story.
I think it's to delineate that it's not part of the continuum that we're used to.
So the trailer drops. I watch it at some time in the morning when I'm just sleepy.
And you woke right up.
Yeah, there was the moment when I woke right up. And that's for me that moment of just it's Star Wars. I'm watching the trailer, I'm enjoying it. It's kind of, it's not bad. I'm digging it. I'm like, all right, so it's very 1970s. The thing that got me was when we got to the AT-AT. I'm excited about that part, but I'm a little worried too. Because part of what I loved about the AT-ATs in Empire is how mechanical they moved. I mean, I know it was stop motion, but it was very lumbering. You could feel some real weight in there. I don't want it to be all CG and just have it move smoothly.
Yeah, what I liked about Force Awakens is it was a lot of practical. It wasn't a computer-generated world like you got in Revenge of the Sith or Attack of the Clones. It was very real and practical. And like for me, the moment it happened early in the trailer where the door opens up and it's the Yavin Rebel base.
Yavin 4, if you will.
Yavin 4.
Not that other one.
No, not Yavin 2, 5, or 8 like we were debating earlier.
I can't tell how much of the and it's a good not knowing. I can't tell how much is practical and how much is not. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. Back in '97, I went to DC, and it was for the 4th of July.
That's very patriotic.
We weren't there for America. We were there for Star Wars.
We weren't there for America.
But what if you go upstairs, you'll see actually, I think there's a thing I got over there that I got from it.
Because this podcast is a really good visual medium.
Yeah, you'll find a stormtrooper like head upstairs for a cup. But it was in '97. There was this huge Star Wars exhibit at the Smithsonian, and my folks are good enough to bring me out to DC and to go see all the Star Wars stuff. But you got to see all those models, and some of them are huge. Like the Falcon was the biggest one. That was like 6-ish feet long. But they had stuff like the Star Destroyers there. And when I'm looking at the Star Destroyers in this trailer, I'm like, are those practical? Are those CG? I couldn't tell. In the best way possible, I couldn't tell.
But the thing it did, too, was it gave it scope. It gave the Death Star scope to have these giant Star Destroyers in front of the...
Scale. Scale is what the notes say scale.
Scale, scope, size, all S words.
This flick's being directed by Gareth Edwards, the guy who, kind of bringing it full circle, was the guy who directed the 2014 Godzilla movie. And part of what made that movie work as well as it did was the idea of, like, here's a giant monster, and giving him some real scale and not just always doing, like, the low-angle shot of, like, here's a guy in a rubber suit.
You can see the zipper.
Or that time he got set on fire.
Well, that happened to, to everybody.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. I like the look of it, though. It looked very retro. It looked like, it should fit into that part of the Star Wars universe. Mon Mothma, holy cow, spot on.
Yeah, something we were talking about before the show. I don't know the actress's name. I don't know if I've ever seen her or anything. But
well, you have, because you saw episode 3.
I didn't see episode 3, but I did see some deleted scenes. In episode 3, Mon Mothma was cast, and then it was ultimately cut. And they ended up reusing the same actress this time around. Hey, you know what they were doing in that deleted scene?
Sitting and talking.
Sitting and talking in a circle.
About politics.
Yeah. Some people may have been standing. Most of them were sitting. But, I mean, Gareth Edwards, he's only done 2 movies. I've seen one of his 2 movies, but I really like the 2014 Godzilla flick.
But I like the look, I haven't seen the 2014 Godzilla movie.
Really?
No, I haven't.
We got that sweet 4K TV upstairs.
I'm not saying to watch a movie tonight.
Oh my god, no. Oh, hey, by the way, since, because I was just poking around the internet while we were waiting for this to recover.
Yeah.
Since we started this podcast, I'm giving a news update.
Oh, okay.
One of the 2 DC movies that I mentioned earlier, not going to change the recording, one of them is going to be a Batman flick, though, which is a surprise to no one. But it's official, since we started. And if we keep this going for about another 20 minutes, maybe we can catch that Doctor Strange trailer on Jimmy Kimmel.
I don't see that happening.
Let's not.
I did. Was flittering through the Twitter sphere, and there are pictures, and looks like a pretty good setup for the Captain America Civil War premiere, which is going on.
Yeah, red carpet's happening right now.
Although when you're listening to this, it probably has already happened. In fact, I know it's already happened.
Oh, is it done? Yeah, actually, probably.
Well, by the time this gets out to the people.
They don't really mention with this movie, like, it's not obviously not one of the numbered ones. It's a little bit separate. I'd like to hope that it's not so directly tied in with the whole familiar thing of Skywalkers. I know Daisy Ridley came out, I think it was today or yesterday, and she was saying, like, look, just because we're both white brunettes does not mean that my character is related to Jin. Maybe she's related to Qui-Gon Jinn.
Doubtful. That's a stretch.
That's not how surnames work in that universe. We know that.
Yes. I think the thing is, though, with Star Wars is the story of the Skywalker family. So there is going to be some Skywalker influence. There has to be. I think we're going to see Darth Vader maybe, or the Emperor maybe. We'd see the Emperor's guards in this trailer.
We're never going to see Dave Prowse.
We're going to see someone in a Darth Vader costume.
So, do you know how he got just completely screwed over?
Besides the fact they didn't use his voice acting?
Well, yeah. Because have you seen those clips? It's not good.
No, it's not good.
his contract, he doesn't, like, most of the people who work in it, like, still get residuals and whatnot, but his contract read, like, he only gets paid if they make a profit, and because they have to, like, do so many people's salaries, and they just come up with, like, X number of reasons why Star Wars movies, despite selling like crazy, never make any money. So Dave Prowse hasn't gotten any money since the movies came out.
So even the $1 billion episode 7, he's not going to see any of that residuals?
Well, no, he won't get money for that anyway.
No.
But yeah, all the original trilogy he doesn't see any money for. Because every year they're like, hey, sorry, Dave, we didn't make any money this year. Better luck next time.
I wonder how much true that, because he did... Because after the first one, like, Lucas had to do a lot of financing on the back end of Empire himself to get the movie made. Like, Fox Studios found multiple ways to try and screw it up.
Well, yeah, they because he got cut out of the Directors Guild because he didn't want to put credits up front and all kinds of.
Well, yeah, he actively left the Directors Guild, and he paid all the fines. Like Irving Kershner got fined for that.
What was there's a great book that I read. It was like. I don't know if I'm going to get the title exactly, like How Star Wars Conquered the Universe. It really digs into a lot of that stuff. It's a really good read.
Well, you know who Richard Marquand was not supposed to direct Jedi.
Then he died.
You know who was supposed to direct Jedi?
Yeah, Spielberg.
Yeah,
but because Spielberg was still in the Directors Guild, he couldn't do it. And in reading that book that I'm sure I'll reference many, many times, I guess he got to direct that movie for being kind of a pushover, and Lucas would just like tell him what to do, and then it was stressful, and then he died, which is kind of depressing.
Do you think that we'll see Spielberg direct the Star Wars film?
No.
You don't think so? Not that it's no longer really George Lucas's to...
I don't see Spielberg doing something that isn't his. Has he ever done a movie that was part of a franchise that he didn't originate? I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no as well. Indiana Jones, he helped originate.
Because I think... Oh, no. Because the only sequels he's ever done are Lost World and Indiana Jones. And now. So, yeah, I can say with authority that no.
No, I think maybe had the whole thing with the Directors Guild not gone down before Return of the Jedi, probably.
I kind of miss that 20th century, like... Da, 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 da,
before the opening. It did kind of whole... roll into everything. But.
Well, I mean, they did keeping Lucasfilm up front is even still a formality. Lucasfilm doesn't really exist anymore. It's just Disney.
No, but I think you have to. Now, here's the thing.
Honestly, I'd like to see Tinkerbell like tap that off just to piss people off, to see irrational internet hate. Which, by the way, we're not big enough yet for that.
Well, but we're opening up a mailbag. Send us your thoughts.
Yeah,
maybe we'll get some irrational hate. We'll highlight your irrational hate. Do we get the opening crawl with this movie? Do we get the big? A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars. In the Flash Rod, the Buck Rogers crawl and
do you care? It's kind of like tradition for Star Wars, but it doesn't really add that much to the movie. It's like,
oh please, it adds a lot to the movie. It sets up the movie. It's expected. It's part of the Star Wars formula.
Well, it's a lot easier now that we have widescreen TVs. Do you remember how annoying that was when we just had like the boxes and the scroll would happen? You'd be like, words are cut off at the front, words are cut off in the back. If I wait a little while, I can read the whole thing.
For your TV.
Yeah. It didn't work.
I think we get the opening crawl.
If we do, we do. I mean, I just want it to be good.
Yeah.
If they have to do something different.
I think so. New droid.
The expectation, I don't think it's been confirmed. We know that Alan Tudyk is going to be playing a ping pong ball character. There's a couple of shots you see in the trailer of a droid. You don't get to see all of them, but he kind of looks like the IG-88 droid, the bounty hunter you see in Empire.
Yes, Alan Tudyk from Serenity and Firefly Flame. Also, Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball.
Yes, that one as well. I don't really remember Dodgeball, but he did the robot in iRobot. I don't remember that movie at all. It left no impression on me.
No, Will Smith with the retro product placement.
That's all I remember is...
Those are your vintage 2004
Nikes.
Adidas. Yeah. By the way, the screen just went blank on the computer and the look of shock and horror on your face.
I'm so afraid. I don't want to lose the recording again. I think this movie leaves us with a lot of questions. Or the teaser leaves us with a lot of questions. I think that's good. We have the blind sword fighter.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool seeing someone like swinging a bladed-esque weapon that isn't a lightsaber. We have Forrest Whitaker being some kind of bounty hunter who may or may not be helping the Jin character.
He definitely is trying to, like, what are you going to do when the Empire starts to kick your ass?
I mean, the dialogue goes over other footage, so I don't even know if he's talking to her. Probably, but, trailers mess with that stuff a lot. Even in the Suicide Squad trailer, like, we see... I'm just going to use the character name versus actors, but we see Deadshot get up and El Diablo's face is like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then he yells and shoots a bunch of flame, but there's there's a costume change. He goes from a guy wearing a jacket to a guy in a wife beater.
Yes.
Then he goes back to the scene and he's back in the jacket. And I'm like, okay, so those are very separate things. But that's a very...
You wore the space bar out on your computer.
I did, but that's a common thing in trailers. You always see stuff cut together where it's like it looks like one thing, but they're from two totally separate scenes. So I don't know. And then there's the Ben Mendelsohn character who looks like a high-ranking Imperial officer who wears a sweet cape.
A sweet white cape.
A sweet white cape. He gets it wet.
Which, it doesn't make sense, because everything else in the Empire is black.
It's dry clean only.
Dry clean. Maybe he's got the same tail as Mon Mothma.
Yeah, who hasn't changed her style ever. She's like, I'm really into flowy white things and long necklaces.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Would you have known that was Mon Mothma if she was dressed a different way?
Probably not.
No, definitely not.
Many Bothans died to bring her those garments.
Maybe we'll find out what a Bothan is. I know it used to exist in the expanded universe, but that doesn't count anymore.
No.
I looked it up once because I was curious. It was just a...
Are you worried we have too many Star Wars movies, though? With like a Star Wars movie coming out every year for the next several years?
As a retailer, I like it. Because December, you know what brought in the money?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
But as a fan...
Star Wars, especially... I love the Marvel movies, and it's a bit of a love-hate thing, because they also started this kind of unending idea of movies, and maybe the idea of not having a conclusion, which I love. I love seeing a story beginning to end, and Star Wars had that, and now the door has been opened that maybe there's not going to be an end anymore. I don't want Star Wars to be a Bond.
No, I think they're going to enhance the story. You've always wondered what happened between Anakin going in the suit and, the Battle of Yavin. So you've got that.
But, I mean, the only history we have on
we're going to get some C-3PO. We have to get C-3PO and R2-D2 because they've got to get the plans inside the droids and onto...
No, I bet this movie ends with the plans getting to Leia. Or they're, sending the plans to Leia.
Maybe they get on Captain Antilles' ship.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
I almost said Captain and Tennille.
What did you... No, we're too young to be able to reference Captain and Tennille.
Well, I was more like Captain Tennille. Did you ever watch Most Extreme Elimination Challenge?
Yeah. I did. Oh, what? Baba Ganoush.
Baba Ganoush, yes.
That took me a second, yeah.
Mike Romano and Kenny Blankenship.
I haven't thought about that in years.
There's episodes on YouTube. I was watching one the other night, and I remember watching it a lot in college.
Because one of the things that we have to remember for this movie is it's a prequel.
Don't bring it down, dude.
Whatever it is.
I'm looking at it as it's kind of a standalone. I'm going to treat it kind of like a standalone. It's a part of the universe. You could argue that Captain America was a prequel. Happened before Iron Man.
But it was the first in its series.
It's still part of the universe.
Yeah, the first Captain America movie also isn't the best movie.
Well, but I'm just saying, I'm looking at it from that aspect.
Look forward to our Captain America movies episode that we're going to be doing in probably 2 weeks. Side note, watch those movies.
All over it.
Because we're going to do an episode.
I didn't like Winter Soldier.
What?
I'm lying. I did. It was good. It was better than the first one.
That's insanity. I got personally offended.
See, there's irrational hate. I brought the irrational hate to the show. No, I liked it. Well, obviously, we have a Captain America episode. I'll wear my Captain America shirt for that episode.
It's not going to help anything.
No. My editor's note comic shirt didn't help tonight.
Well, it got us back 50-odd minutes.
Yes.
So, the big question is, who is... I assume someone is the tube of light. People have said maybe it's the Emperor, maybe it's Vader. I'm leaning more towards the Emperor just because the Imperial Guards are there. Maybe
it's somebody we haven't seen yet. Maybe it's a different character.
I think the guy in the cloak is someone we haven't seen yet. I think that's Mads Mikkelsen's character. That's the actor who was the villain in Casino Royale.
Oh, yes.
He plays Hannibal on that show Hannibal.
What about, maybe it's Supreme Leader Snook?
Probably not, just because I think they're waiting to reveal what that is.
How trolled would you feel if it was Jar Jar Binks inside the white beam of light?
They froze him in carbonite. I don't know. It works really well as a teaser trailer. Leading into The Force Awakens, one of the best things is that we didn't know a ton. There was a lot of speculation. People picked it apart to death. But at the end of the day, we didn't really know what The Force Awakens was.
See, I have no real expectations about this movie. Like, with the prequels, I had an expectation. I'm going to watch Anakin Skywalker fall to the dark side.
And that was the worst. I mean, whatever you thought, or like, oh boy, I wonder how he got there, was a million times better than whatever it is. It's one of the reasons I don't want to see the Han Solo prequel, is whatever you think his past was.
It's not gonna live up to that standard that you have.
Good old Larry Kasdan's writing that with his boy.
If there's a guy that's writing it that understands the universe, that's not George Lucas. It's Larry Kasdan.
Got you to say Larry Kasdan.
I did. Okay.
Old horns. Do you think we're gonna see some competent stormtroopers? Like maybe those are like death troopers or something. Making up names.
Highly unlikely. I feel like it's always that hierarchy of like Imperial officials.
They got a tank.
And stormtroopers. They got
a sweet tank.
They also have AT-ATs on a beach. Not AT-ATs.
No, not AT. I don't like AT-AT. Because then the other one would have to be ATST.
ATST.
It doesn't work.
All-terrain armored transport.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, you learn new things.
Wow. I knew something you didn't know.
It was called an AT-AT.
Yes. No, it'll be interesting to see where it goes, and obviously I think we'll, midsummer, get a full trailer for it and really get a better look at it. But it was long for a teaser trailer. There was a lot in it.
I like it. There was nothing that really makes me that worried about it, which is nice. Because I remember, we live in a world now where everything is just instantaneous. I remember when the episode 1 trailer came out, that was an all-day ordeal.
On your 56K modem?
Yeah, off of Windows 95. But downloading that trailer for episode 1, we had to tie up the phone line all day, and I was just clicking on that sweet 4-inch QuickTime window.
Oh, God.
Just
they were in deep with Apple. But you know what? You hung in there and did it, and you know what that makes you? Yoda Man.
Yoda Man.
Yoda Man for doing it.
Yoda Man. We need to find that on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has to be out there. Someone had to have recorded that.
If it's on the internet, it's there.
Yoda Man?
Yoda Man.
I'm going to make a second Twitter account. Yoda
Man.
Just troll myself.
Looking forward, what books are out this week that are good? Reading suggestions.
God, today was too busy. I haven't had a chance to read anything. No, that's not true. I did read one thing. Issue 5 of 6 of the Batman Ninja Turtles crossover happened. It's kind of weird to say it was a little bit of it was just building to the final issue, but it's like a crossover of 2 of my favorite things in the world. It's been amazing.
And there's some Star Wars books out. Disney's doing a good job with that, right?
Yeah. General reading recommendations for the week for movies that haven't come out yet. I'd say go and check out the Star Wars graphic novels. There's been a few miniseries, but the 2 kind of big ones are the ongoing Star Wars one and the ongoing Vader one. Disney, they know what they got. Star Wars is too big to mess up and to spoil a little bit of something even though it's not a spoiler. The books right now are taking place in between A New Hope and Empire, and they fill in some kind of necessary blanks, and some of them and some not necessary ones that are just kind of fun. Like, you ever want to see Han, Leia, and Chewie all swinging lightsabers around killing people? Can now.
Wow.
It's kind of there's this one page of just the 3 of them with lightsabers.
Seems like a terrible idea.
No, it's amazing. The highlight for me is they've tried to make Boba Fett not useless. So they have Luke and Boba Fett get into this whole big fight, and Boba Fett figures out who he is, and he goes back to Vader. He's like, oh, hey, BT Dubs, you got a kid. That's verbatim. And Vader's like, all right, get on out of here, little scamp. But what happens afterwards is, so Vader, this is like the discovery that he has a child, and you see him kind of clench his fist and using the Force, like he's on a Star Destroyer looking out into space, and you see just the glass around him all start to crack, just out of rage for the Emperor. And they're really, really good books, except for the Princess Leia one. Don't read that one.
There's a 3PO book just to explain how he got his red arm.
I haven't checked it out yet, but in all fairness, James Robinson wrote it, and I really love pretty much everything James Robinson does, so I assume it's going to be good. I'll read it tomorrow, and hopefully it's a good book.
There you go. Ideas going forward. We talked about making a mailbag. Contact us. With
Jared wants hate mail.
You're right. I don't want hate mail. I just want to, ask some questions. Listen to the show. What can we do better? What do you want to know?
Yeah, if you want to reach us, you can find me at Editor's Note Comics on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Gmail.
EditorsNoteComics.com.
That's the website where I'm hosting this podcast. If you find us on iTunes, please subscribe, rate, review. I don't think people realize, especially starting out, how much just every individual really matters in boosting that ranking. So please, if you can.
A man of the people.
But if you're going to give less than 5 stars, don't bother, because it's not really worth your effort.
Wow. So in one breath, you ask for effort, and backhandedly, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Wow.
I think so. God, in probably 15 minutes from when we're going to cut this off, the Doctor Strange trailer is going to premiere on Jimmy Kimmel. So next week we'll be talking all about the Doctor Strange trailer, Doctor Strange the character, and just a general Doctor Strange episode. I don't know if I'm going to start with Doctor Strange or not, but I'd like to get a new segment going called Jared's Reading Corner.
Where I have to read a comic book.
I was going to say, you can't act surprised this time, because I really just dropped that in your lap when we first recorded it. I'm trying to make it thematic for what we're doing. Pretty soon we'll have Civil War coming up. We have Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Captain America, all that kind of stuff. So next week, Doctor Strange. Kind of only plugged my social media. Where can we find you?
At Junior Rich on Twitter. You can follow the saga of my upcoming potential nose surgery, part 2.
Oh my god, stop having different noses.
It's the same nose. It's not like I have it's not gone through variations like Michael Jackson's nose.
Too soon.
Is it really?
No, probably not.
Exactly.
I don't. When was that? That was 6 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
6 years isn't that long.
It could be.
That was the sound of the sump pump signaling us that it's time to end the episode.
Thank goodness.
All right, ending it for time 2. Bye, everyone. Good sign out.
Yes, very good. Solid.
You didn't contribute.
Oh, goodbye.